Hello, I'm Sheila and welcome to this Yin Yang practice. Mostly Yin and very much about the shoulders, the upper part of the back, front of the heart, very enlivening with a little touch of a few Yang movements. So grab your mat and a prop if you have, like a rolled up blanket or a block or even a bolster, that would be fantastic. But find things, get inventive, and I'll see you on the mat in a moment. Namaste. Just make sure that you have a nice comfy seat, and we're going to start a little bit of movement. So we're going to lift the shoulders up towards our ears, like really kind of lifting them up nice and high, and then dropping the shoulders down. So we're lengthening the neck. So you can feel that action there in the shoulders as you push your shoulders down. And then inhaling, drawing the shoulders up towards your ears and your neck disappears. And then exhaling again, we're going to press the shoulders down, a little length for the neck. Feeling a little action there in the muscles around your shoulder blades. And then as we inhale again, we lift the shoulders up. Notice how that feels even for the lungs, for the rib cage. And then exhaling, pressing the shoulders down. Maybe a little movement for your head. Nice, and then find a neutral position. Lovely, so we're going to take our arms out to the side. Lift the arms up and over, interlinking your fingers, pressing out through the palms. So try not to let the shoulders come up around your ears. We want to kind of keep the neck nice and long. Press out through the palms, quite enlivening for the arms. And then release. Let's take our arms behind us, interlinking our fingers, squeezing the shoulder blades together. So we want to just notice that we are really using our muscles here. That's the Yang activity. Finding that squeeze. And then release. And let's take our arms in front. And we're going to again interlink the fingers and really round your back and draw your chin in towards your chest. And like somebody's drawing your arms away from you. Really breathing into the back of your body. Inhaling, we're going to come back up. Nice straight spine. And let's take the right hand behind us. Left hand to the outside of the right knee, coming into a twist. Inhaling, coming back to the center, coming round to the other side. So noticing how that feels for your spine, sitting nice and tall. Lovely. And then as you inhale, come back to the center. And we're going to start to make circles. So you can start nice and small. You can close your eyes. Just going in one direction. Noticing how that feels for kind of and around the heart. You're leaning forward and then rounding your back to come around the other side. Start small and then allow the circles to get a little bigger. You can move your shoulders around, your head. Like a lovely infinity move. Moving with your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe letting your head get even more movement. taking your time, noticing what changes. So the same when we're in a yin pose, there's always going to be changes when we create our movement, but it's nice to start nice and small. Okay, and then slowly come back to the center. It's like, whoa, that was a bit of a whirlwind. I got into that. So let's lift our arms up and out to the side, interlinking our fingers again, pressing out through the palms. A nice lift up out of the hips, nice long spine, reaching out through the palms. And we're going to lean a little this time, up and over to your right. So getting a nice stretch through the left side of the body. Inhaling, we come up. Exhaling, up and over the other way. Inhaling, we come back up. Let's take our arms behind us, interlinking our fingers, squeezing the shoulder blades together, lifting the arms maybe. And then release. Let's take the arms in front, rounding your back, chin in towards the chest. Breathing in, drawing in vitality, joy, warmth around the heart. Lovely. And then release, and we'll take our left hand to the outside of our right knee, coming into a twist. Coming back round, coming round the other side. So good for the spine. Move it in all of its various ways. I always like to think of it as a celebration of movement. And then come back to the center, and we're going to start to make our circles around the other way. So whichever way you went the first time, we're going the other way. Really allow it to be about the whole spine, the lower, very base of the spine, in and around your kidneys, behind your heart, into your shoulders, into your neck, and then explore, like closing your eyes and moving into a space really that's all about freedom. It's not really about what it looks like on the outside. Everything is about how it feels on the inside for you. And you might find there's a bit more movement now for your head and your neck. There might be lots of noises in there. Just allow it to get nice and juicy for the joints. Lovely. And then coming back to the center. And we'll just take our hands onto our legs, however we have our seat. Closing your eyes and just being aware of how that feels now. And in a way, we're knitting together the experiences of stillness and movement and the aspects of inner stillness and inner movement. And then from here we're going to come into a wide-kneed child's pose, and with the option of having that extra shape for our shoulders. So, only do this if it's right for your shoulders. But we're going to take our knees nice and wide. So, of course, if this one isn't right for your knees, you could always take your legs up the wall and do the squat variation. But Knees are nice and wide, big toes touching, and then either over a bolster or rolled up blanket, this is the option for the shoulders, is to take your wrists over the top of something so that they're a little bit lifted up off the floor. So the idea would be that you would have your arms off the floor and then encourage your forehead towards the earth. Now another option, if you want to get a little bit more into your triceps, is to have your elbows on something a little higher and encourage. So this is really all about that space behind the heart. Lovely. So beginning now to take a nice deep breath into your body. A nice long smooth breath out. And again, just noticing if anything has changed, what it feels like now as compared to the very beginning of this shape. And then we're going to slowly make our way back up. So, and again, that idea of not shaking anything away is quite a long tug on the meridian lines on the underneath side of the arms, which is our yin side of the arm, and also into the lymph glands very good for our lungs. So we're going to take the right arm out in front and just at shoulder height, and take hold of your fingers, and you're going to encourage your fingers in towards you, a little pull of the fingers in towards your body. So it gets a little extra stretch there for the front of that right arm. And then release, nice and slowly. And we're going to take the left arm out in front. It's like you're flexing your wrists, your hands, and you're encouraging the fingers in towards you. Now it might feel quite different one side versus the other. We can be kind of dominant in one side of the body without knowing it until we come to make these moves with our body. And then release, and then we're going to take if we can, the backs of our hands. We're going to take the backs of the hands underneath the kind of armpit area, just here, side of the breasts, and then take your kind of against the lymph glands again, and it's quite a strong stretch for the wrists again. So you're pressing your hands against your body. And you want to be able to breathe. Don't make it too much. Just something good for the wrists. Try and make sure your shoulders aren't kind of scrunching up around your ears. Remember, we're always looking for that kind of edginess in yin. Kind of just the right amount. As one of our teachers talks about, Goldilocks. Not too much, not too little. Lovely. And then release nice and slowly, taking your hands down onto your legs and just kind of softly straightening the hands and the fingers. Resting your hands for a few moments. Again, it's an opportunity really to let that energy settle back down again. Of course, there's the temptation to shake the wrists. Just see if you can avoid that. So for our next shape, we're going to do half shoelace pose. Well, some of you, I'm going to give the option. Half shoelace pose, so the legs are out in front. So you have your legs out in front, and let's take the right knee on top of the left. So that might be absolutely plenty for lots of you, for everybody. But if you feel you would like to bend this lower leg and take that foot beside your hip, you can come into the full shoelace option. But you don't want to be sitting on your heels. So just make sure you're not sitting on your heels. So if half shoelace is with the leg straight, full shoelace with the leg bent. Now another option is, if you're kind of not feeling this at all, is again choosing your seat of preference, maybe lifting the hips up a little. Coming into maybe hero pose. There's all sorts of different options. Because we're going to come into some arm moves now. We're going to take the right arm up and encourage that right elbow back. So your hand is really just behind your neck or coming down the spine, maybe just touching behind the shoulder blades. We want to sit nice and tall. And then perhaps keeping that hand there to encourage the elbow back, or maybe taking your left hand around the back. Now the fingers might not reach, and that's fine. So I'm going to turn around, show you. It might be that you have your hand around your neck and that left arm. Maybe it's here, maybe it's in the lower back, but encouraging it up the spine at whatever angle it comes to is going to be the right space for you. So don't worry about whether the hands touch. We want to just be very patient with ourselves. Nice. So taking a nice long smooth breath in, and as you exhale, slowly unraveling your arms, and you're going to take your arms out to the side, press out through the palms, and one arm, the right arm, is going to feel very different to the left arm, but we feel that little yang action there as we press the palms away. And then from here we're going to create a twist. So let's take the twist to the right. Left arm comes to the outside of that top leg and the right hand behind. Maybe massaging your heart with your breath. Nice. And then as we inhale now, let's come back to the center, and we're going to make another shape with the arms. Right arm underneath the left. We're spinning the arms, maybe taking hold of that top thumb, maybe the palms together. And we're going to kind of nestle the hips down into the earth and lift the elbows a little bit away from the chest. Maybe a little bit of movement for your head from side to side. Noticing how that feels behind the shoulder blades again. Lovely. So taking a nice deep breath in now. And as you exhale, slowly unraveling your arms. And again, taking your arms out to the side, shoulder height, press out through the palms. And now we're going to draw the arms in to give ourselves a hug. So just taking the right arm above the left, taking your hands behind you, and then a little kind of rounding, chin in towards the chest, giving yourselves a nice big hug. And then release. So let's straighten out our legs and take our hands behind us, lifting our hearts. And then before we do the other side, we're going to come on to our hands and knees and a little cat-cow. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Now your cat-cow can be circular, it can be straight, forward, back, down, up, around, whatever it needs to be. But get a little bit of movement for your spine, your shoulders, your neck. Noticing how your body feels, right side, left side. Moving with your eyes closed. Remembering that we always need to be curious. We need to bring a curiosity to our mat, to our practice. If we're not being curious, then we're not really being present to noticing what's happening. And then coming back to the center now. And we're going to sit down with our legs out in front. And we'll do our half shoelace or full shoelace on the other side. So the right knee comes up on top of the left. No, the other way. Left knee comes up on top of the right. Maybe the full shoelace pose where the right leg bends as well. Maybe you're sitting in a leg variation altogether, which is absolutely fine. You have to make this right for your hips, your knees, your ankles. You could be sitting on a chair, focusing on the shoulder element of this practice. So we're going to take our left arm up now and just let the hand come down, maybe around the neck. You can encourage the elbow back a little bit with your right hand. And feel the lift of the chest and the space and the openness in and around the rib cage is a nice, we want to feel like we're being really lifted up out of the hips. And then taking maybe your right hand around the back and nestling it around and moving and just finding the right shape for you now. Again, very important that it's not too much, that we can breathe. There's no extra pinching. If you find your arm starts to go numb, then you need to undo your arm and unpinch that nerve. So don't let your arm go numb. And then coming into that space, a really lovely mantra for this, just to really draw the energy into your heart. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Surround yourself with love, with compassion. Nice. And then slowly take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to release the arms, just gradually, slowly, taking your time. And then let's press the arms out to the side. And kind of flexing the hands, the wrists, so that we get that interesting feeling on the underneath side of the arms. Feeling that spaciousness around the shoulders, enlivening of the lymph glands. Nice. And then we take the left arm underneath the right and spin the arms around. Lift the elbows up a little bit so they're not sinking down too much. We want to lift nice and tall. And again, you might like to move your head a little here, side to side. Make space for your neck. Feel that breath moving into the back of the body, back behind the heart. There's a very deep broadening actually of the bones there, the scapula. Nice. And then releasing nice and slowly, gradually unraveling your arms. And again, keeping the arms shoulder height, pressing out through the palms. And then releasing your hands down. And we're going to straighten our legs. Take our hands behind us. A little lift of the chest. A little squeeze of the shoulder blades maybe. You might include that little bit of action there. And then from here we're going to come onto our belly into Sphinx pose. And really discovering that nice lift into and again around the front of the heart, back of the heart. You might find it feels more enlivened than it has before in the past. Nice long neck, soft face, soft jaw. Relaxed hips, relaxed legs, coming into that stillness. Lovely. So as you come to the end of this shape, just making a really informed, wise decision about whether you stay exactly as you are, or if your body invites you to come up a little higher into seal pose, as long as your glutes don't start squeezing together straight away. And then slowly making your way down to the earth. So elbows come out to the side, taking your time to come down. And we're going to come into a pose called crocodile pose. So let's turn our heads so that the right ear is touching the earth. And we're going to bend the left knee. It just slides along the floor, up in line with the hip. And then the right arm reaches up towards the side wall. So, crocodile pose. Just allow the hips to relax. Notice the effect that has on the right side of the body. Nice. And then slowly straightening that left leg. Drawing that right arm back in. And then making that shape on the other side. So you're going to bend the right knee. Slide that up in line with your hip. Turn your head so that the left ear is down. And slide the left arm up. Lovely. And then straightening everything up again. So drawing the right leg back in. Drawing the left arm back in. And then from here you're going to roll onto your back. So let's come onto our backs. Now if you have something a made-up bolster. You might find it quite useful here. We're going to come into a twist. And we're going to take the right leg straight along the mat. Left knee comes in towards the body. Sorry, actually we should be doing that the other side first. Sorry, apologies. Left leg straight. So if you need a prop underneath your legs, it should be on your left side. And then draw the right knee in. And we're going to take that knee over onto the prop. Left hand onto the knee. And then right arm reaches away, turning to look over your right arm. So you just want to feel like that lower half of the right leg is supported. Now you might keep that right arm just straight out from your body, or you might like to have the arm up a little higher. All it does is add an extra little length through that right side of the body, and again kind of targets the lungs, the heart, the large intestine, the small intestine. So kind of creates a nice pull on different internal organs. Very good for digestion. Just relax. Of course, if you find that the arm beak starts to come numb, don't ever allow the kind of pinching of the nerve to go on for too long, if there's any pinching at all. So we don't want pinching. So beginning to take a nice deep breath into your body now. Exhaling nice long smooth breath out. And then slowly we're going to make our way back. So like little bit at a time. So right arm comes back down or in. The head comes back to the center. And then the leg comes back up. And let's take both feet to the floor and allow the knees to rest in on one another. So the feet need to be just a slight, kind of have a good width to them. And then straightening up your spine and your hips and your shoulders. And then we're going to take our prop over to the other side. And we'll straighten the right leg. Draw the left knee in towards the chest. And then making your twist, we're going to take that knee over onto our prop. Right hand on top of the knee. And again, a little shimmy, a little movement. Left arm reaches out to the side. We really take our time to create this twist now on the other side. So slowly, when your body invites you, maybe turning your head to the left. Maybe explore how that feels to have the left arm up a little higher, not just out at that 90-degree angle. Could be up a little higher. It doesn't have to be though. Sometimes the arm then isn't on the floor, so you kind of have to play around. Sometimes it's nice to have things connected, and maybe you need something underneath the arm for support. Just as long as we're not causing ourselves any sharp pain. It's a key component to this practice, is to really listen in. We're not moving through sharp pain. We have no desire to try and do that. It's a real mindset shift that's required there. That we think we'll just keep on plugging. And yet if we just back up a little, that invites in a beautiful healing into the body. When we learn to back up. We can always go in reverse, you know. We don't always have to be going forward. Sometimes reverse is needed. So beginning again now to take a nice deep breath in, sending a very nice, lovely signal to the body that we're going to move. Nice long smooth breath out. And then, as I say, gradually we undo this shape. So kind of limb by limb, bring the arm in, turn your head back to the center. Gradually lifting that left leg back up. And, you know, the slower we go, the more we're going to feel how that feels to be moving back into a straight line again. What is it the spine is having to do to adjust, to receive? And again, just keeping the soles of the feet on the floor, knees in towards one another. Just it gives a little moment for the spine to be in neutral, the lower back to receive this nourishment through the entire spine up into your neck. And then our final shape we're going to make is happy baby pose. We're going to bring the knees in. You're going to take the arms to the inside of the legs, hands to the outside of the feet, and maybe a little bit of a lift of the legs. Might kind of go, oh, that's interesting. If that's too much, you could take your hands just behind your knees, hold your legs that way. If you like to create a little bit of movement, you can do a little bit of a sway from side to side. But just make it very slow, make it sweet, make it loving. And then lowering your feet to the earth and making your way into Shavasana with your legs out nice and wide. Maybe something underneath your knees. Definitely, if you have a blanket to put over the top of you, it's really, really, really lovely to have a blanket over the top. Keep your feet warm, put some socks on, arms out to the side, and just allow yourself now to drop down into the earth, to receive that practice, to receive the energy, to receive the love. Lovely. So beginning now to take a nice deep breath into your body. As you slowly start to move your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, drawing your legs together, lifting your arms up over your head, giving yourself a nice stretch. And then drawing your knees in towards you, giving your knees a nice big hug. Little rock from side to side. Rolling over onto your left side, curled into a ball. And then pressing into the earth with your right hand to make your way up to sit in a nice comfortable cross-leg position. Sitting with your eyes closed. Just checking in with how you feel. And we find this still point by bringing our loving attention to our own body, our mind, our heart, our breath. And when we align our bodies and breath, we remember to align with our own hearts on and off the mat. So we'll draw our practice to a close with the sharing of 3 Oms. Taking a nice deep breath in. Drawing our hands in front of our hearts as we bow in gratitude, in thanks to our bodies and our breath and our minds and our hearts and our stillness and our movement and our alignment and wonderment. And many, many, many thanks for joining, taking part. I wish you all a very peaceful, happy, gorgeous, full of vim and vigor day. Namaste, everybody. Namaste.